What's up, Taurus? Welcome to your Love Quickie. This is going to be a timeless read, so whenever you are called or inspired to watch it is when the message is for you. Also, definitely check out your other placements because, especially with this read for you guys, this is not going to be for everybody. This feels very specific, and actually, there's a lot going on, so I'm going to do my best to try to break down what this could mean for you, Taurus, okay? So, lots of decisions coming up for you guys, especially like surrounding big life changes. I'm talking babies, I'm talking marriage, I'm talking about those types of things, but there's ugh, what feels like a little bit of friction, in between it. Well, I'm not going to say a little bit because these are things that can definitely affect, a relationship. You guys start out with Ace of Cups. And then you've got crossing it, the Five of Swords. Now, Ace of Cups is beautiful. It's a beautiful card to have, especially in a love reading. It does talk about potential new love. It does talk about the purity. It does talk about, fertility. It does talk about all these beautiful things. It's a really beautiful new potential beginning with you guys, okay? But what's happening is we've got the Five of Swords here that's crossing it. Now, this card is basically indicating what's helping or hurting a situation. I feel like whether you're in a relation, well, I'm going to talk about people being in a relationship because that's honestly what it feels like. If you're in a relationship, it feels like a lot of you guys are in this place where you're right at the cusp of this next step, right? This new beginning, whether it's, having children, whether it's getting married, whatever it is. But there's this bickering and fighting and issues that kind of prevent things. Now, this could be about you guys not seeing things the same, not having the kind of same mind on a certain issue, how you'd want your wedding, how you would want to raise your kids. If you want kids, that could be an issue coming up here. But even though there's a lot of love here in a situation, it's almost feeling like some of you guys aren't necessarily liking your partner. This could also be your partner feeling that way for you. And I know if you've lived long enough, all of us have been in a situation where we love somebody but didn't necessarily like them anymore. And that's kind of what this feels like. So although there is a lot of love, there is a lot of potential for beautiful things to grow into something deeper and bigger. There's some red flags possibly. There's some, things that you can't get on the same page about. But the Five of Swords is like, it's empty fights. It's like fighting about it is just not going to help it. There would have to be a completely new type of approach in this situation, because it's like when you try to have a conversation about this, nobody is seeing eye to eye, right? And this could be something that's affecting the family around you, the friends around you. You see how the kids are listening and the parents aren't even aware because they're so caught up in their fights and their finger pointing and their issues, right? For some of you guys, I this feels like there could be, some of you guys finding out that you're having children or that children are coming in the picture, and there might be some difference of opinion about that, especially if you are a Taurus that's more like in a situationship rather than an actual relationship. Maybe it's something that you didn't see, going this far or getting that deep, and then you find yourself in a situation where you're like, oh my goodness. But definitely, I feel like for a lot of you guys, there are things that need to be addressed within a relationship because there feels like there's a lot of love there. I mean, we've got the Empress card in the past position. That is your energy, Taurus, Libra. It does talk again about pregnancy. It talks about, the possibilities of children, of fertility, or of new ideas. But she's an abundant Empress, right? She attracts everything to her, not chases it, right? So I do feel like you guys have, best way I could put it, it feels like you Tauruses, some of you might have found yourself in a great relationship, in a great place in your relationship. But now there are some issues or some things that you're having a hard time getting past, some friction that's kind of coming in between and making things difficult. Now, what's happening in the near future is it's decision time. Are you going to walk down the aisle or not? Do you want to have this baby or not? Are you going to stay with this person too? Because that's another thing I want to bring up. And I guess I'll bring that up with this Judgment card. You got the King of Cups, which is actually in the cop-out position. So this is actually what you're not supposed to be aiming for, which is, might seem weird. But King of Cups, great guy, kind, patient, loving, But the thing with the King of Cups that a lot of us forget, because it is cup energy, because it is water energy, although he is the master of his suit, and although he is the master of emotions and understanding them, being emotionally intelligent, all that, he doesn't always show them. Like, this isn't someone that you can just easily read their emotions, right? Because they know how to mask them. They know when it's appropriate to pull them out and when not, right? So in this Judgment card and in this King card, as your avoid, I also want to make sure that you guys aren't becoming a martyr. Like, don't sacrifice yourself for the cause. You don't have to throw yourself in a situation, because you just don't be the martyr. Especially if it's like a situation where, again, let's just use the pregnancy as an example. Let's say you find out that you are pregnant, or you find out that your partner or the person that you're dealing with is pregnant, and you're not sure, not necessarily that you want the child, but maybe that you want the relationship, because a lot of times people who maybe accidentally get pregnant, they think that a relationship has to follow, right? But maybe that's not the way that you were going. Don't make yourself the martyr just to be the good guy or the good girl and keep, the family together, whatever. Like, you have to be true to your emotions. That's another thing about King of Cups. He's so great with people's emotions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he caters to his own the same. And so I think that's really important for you guys to be looking at what it is that you really want, and being true to you, right? So don't be the martyr. Also, don't be emotionally manipulative, right? Because a King of Cups, he can manipulate emotion, right? Because he is the master. So it means he knows how to use the emotions for good. He also knows how to use it in his advantage for bad. So don't emotionally manipulate. And don't deal with someone who's emotionally manipulating. If someone's using gaslighting tactics, manipulation tactics, that is not where you want to be. That's something you want to avoid at the moment. It's not fair. But there is a judgment call that you guys are needing to make. Now, whether you guys are elevating or were in the process of elevating your relationship in terms of marriage, this could have to do with like plans, like when we want to get married, where we want to get married. Do we want to have a big wedding? Do we want to just go to Justice of Peace? It could be something like that. It could also be, again, moving forward in this relationship. Is that what you really, really want? Now, there is a chance for rekindling things, right? Because whenever we get the Judgment card, it's almost like a redo card, a second chances card. But the decision is definitely going to be made by you guys, Taurus. Okay. Now, what you should be aiming for and looking forward to, that's movement going forward. We've got the Chariot card. So this is Cancer energy, but this is about balance. So it feels like there's a lack of balance in this relationship. Maybe someone is more emotional and, shows their feelings like that. Like, maybe that's their love language. And so like they're really good at the words of affirmation, and they're really good at the physical touch, but maybe that's not the other person's thing. It's really important that you guys are creating balance in your relationships and figuring out what it is that what's important to you guys, what it is that you need from a relationship, and figuring out if, you are exactly where you want to be in a relationship. But this is success moving forward. I do like this. So definitely be looking for things to be a little bit better, especially if there's been so much friction, right? Try not to give into those low vibrational feelings, right? Because it's not helping the situation. It's actually hurting, and it's hurting more than just you. It's hurting people around you, right? So it's really, really important that you are in tune with your emotions. It's really important that you're being honest with yourself. And when you're doing that, coming from a place of like purity, like when you're having these conversations, not emotionally manipulating, not gaslighting, not allowing other people to do that to you, and finding balance in the relationship, right? So you can move forward, or finding balance within yourself. I can say for some of you, it feels like maybe this will be a thing that you walk away from. But some of you guys, there is hope in terms of revamping it, but you have to be honest. You have to communicate, right? Effectively. And you can't just be the martyr all the time. And Taurus, you guys can do that sometimes because you care so much about family. You care so much about the people you care about. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. And while that's admirable on some fronts, it doesn't work for you all the time, right? So what is it that you want? What's going to make you happy? These are things that need to be communicated in order to push forward. Now, in your advice for moving forward, you do have the Four of Wands, which does talk about marriage, right? So this is about at the very least setting foundations, right? And then we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Interesting. If we're talking about an archetype of Knight of Pentacles, especially in terms of love and relationships, this is someone who's very pragmatic, but they're not the best at showing their emotions, right? So this isn't like if you're in a relationship with like a Knight of Pentacles type person, you know that they'll be loyal. Um, and you know that they will fulfill all like the traditional duties of what a relationship involves, but it will most likely lack passion heavily, right? So that's something to keep in mind. Maybe some of you guys are having issues around that. Again, different love languages, different levels of passion, that type of a thing. But this is something that you guys should be working towards and talking about, bringing up and working on. And really, if you are a person who is at that place of like going to a higher level of type of relationship, maybe talking about what that looks like to both of you, rather than just like falling into it by default, like setting the foundations for what your expectations are in order to move forward so that you don't have a whole lot of this, right? Some of you guys, this could indicate also planning to buy a house, right? We talk about Four of Wands, that could indicate like a big move. Maybe that's something like, you know, that's kind of in the way or something that's like a point of contention in your relationship. But like, yeah, if there are things going on, especially in terms of how you guys show love, because I just feel like there's someone who's a little bit more passionate or someone who's more excited for the next step and someone who's a little bit more closed off, maybe isn't communicating as well and just deciding to kind of be the martyr because that's easier said than, you know, than doing all the other things. But pay attention to the detail. Pay attention to what it is your partner's asking for. Pay attention to what it is that you're wanting in a relationship, right? So you guys can build strong foundations. And really look into this. There's something about the passion here. I just feel like there's like an imbalance, right? That's why we got the Chariot card in terms of like coming back into balance. I feel like there's an imbalance of the way that we are showing love and affection, and I feel like that is starting to affect the relationship. So if you have needs, you need to communicate those needs. If your partner has needs, you need to be open to them when they're communicating those needs to you so you guys can figure out how you want to move forward. Now, the most likely outcome, Tower, Four of Cups. Tower card is, it's like the tornado coming through, right? It's like the earthquake shutting shit down. It can be chaotic. It's a surprise. It's, you know, it's something that kind of comes and swiftly knocks out all the foundations that weren't set. Right? When we get to the point of the Tower card, this is the universe kind of trying to step in and save us because we have not been able to save ourselves. So in a love reading, a lot of times, I'm gonna be honest with you, this comes across as a divorce, a separation, but Tower cards can also be beautiful too, right? Because again, they can kind of set you back on track so that you're able to build those foundations in a better, more stable way. But with this Four of Cups, Four of Cups is being dissatisfied about something. This is about not being excited about what's to come. This is about having enough of what's been giving, right? You see how someone's trying to hand her more wine and she's already done. Like she's zooted. She doesn't need anything more. She doesn't want anything more in this. And for some of you guys, you may find that you are in a relationship where, you know, it's just done. And you know it. You have that realization. You have that situation. If you are dealing, again, if this relationship has to do with kids, because I do feel like for some of you guys, this could be like, there could have been like a surprise pregnancy that was completely just not in the plans. And there could be some discrepancies around that. Have honest conversations, be fair, hear your person out. Don't get so stuck on your point that you're, you know, not able to even hear what the other person is saying. I think that has a lot to do with that, but also don't be taken advantage of either. Okay. Now you guys got forgiving and learning. It says, as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. forgiving yourself, forgiving your partner for all the things done, right? We're all doing the best that we can every day. We're learning every step along the way. And there isn't a manual for how to do everything. And even if there is, it doesn't apply for everybody in every situations, and it doesn't work in everybody's relationships. So forgive yourself, give yourself grace, forgive your partner, give them grace. Have these communications, have these talks that need to be had. There's something going on with children. This could even be divorce happening, I hate to say. And maybe there's some type of, fighting about separation. How are we going to deal with the kids? How are we going to deal with the custody? These are all things. But what I do like is it feels like you guys have more power in this situation than you think. And, I just want you to really trust your gut and how you feel. This doesn't necessarily mean that you guys have to, if you are in this kind of place of like, do I want to get married? Do I not? This does not mean that you have to, right? But this is here for you to look at these things. What would that foundation look like, right? If you're with this partner who maybe isn't as loving, doesn't show affectionate, in the long run, what would that look like for you? If you're in a relationship that's reliable and loyal, but not necessarily passionate, is that okay for you? Some of you guys might find that it's not. Okay, so I love you guys. I hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you soon. Bye, Taurus.